the Honorable IT Minister, DG UIDAI, IT Secretary, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here today as part of the summit, and I would like to thank the state government for providing us this opportunity. It's always great to listen to Mr. Adarsh Sharma when he starts talking about Aadhaar, because that subject is so interesting. You can continue to listen to him, especially for people like us who have been in the e-governance space. You look at it and you realize that there are so many challenges that each of the governments face today. And not only the challenges, but there are also some huge opportunities for the governments to improve the citizen service in the country. In fact, most of these challenges and opportunities that exist today with the local government or even the federal government or the central government, they are quite common, not only in our country but across the world. Of course, there are individual priorities that exist between one government and the other. And from Microsoft, we have relevant citizen service solution frameworks available, and we work very closely with the governments to support them in their endeavor to provide those services and to prioritize their service delivery objectives. If we look at some of the technology megatrends today, you will notice that mobility is one of the big ones up there. Why maybe the cloud is an all-encompassing technology trend. When we look at mobility and we look at India as a country, we find that the mobile penetration in the country is much higher than PC penetration, and that's going to lead to a situation where most of the services in the country will have to be necessarily delivered through a mobile handset device. In fact, earlier when Sharma was talking about the Aadhaar implementation, he spoke about the mobile ATM devices, and that's also a step in that direction only. Today, you would remember, some 25 years back, at least I remember, when we used to travel, or maybe more than 25 years back, when we used to travel for vacation, and you had to travel from one place to the other, and you had a break in between. If you wanted to do a reservation, you would need to send a telegram or get a telegram confirming that everything has been done. Now, once PRS was implemented by the railways, all that became very easy. But today, if you look back, even PRS is not sufficient. Today, you have your online bookings happening. You also have your e-ticket getting delivered on your mobile set, which is sufficient for you to travel in the train. So mobile solution, mobile as a technology is going to be extremely important going ahead. In the country, in India, we have seen successes on some of these technological trends by way of certain e-governance programs which have been launched. For example, eMamta has been quite successful in Gujarat and maybe in Rajasthan as well. So we see this as one of the technologies which is really going to grow. Social networking is another area which has been booming. We have seen examples of this worldwide, where some of these revolutions which have happened in the last few years, the social media stepped in and played a big role. Delhi police recently sent out messages saying that they would want to use Facebook to get feedback from the citizens. So in India also, there are agencies, there are service providers who are wanting to use the social media to enhance the service delivery to the citizens of the country. Big data is something that again got covered when we were earlier listening on Aadhaar. That's one area where we have a huge opportunity to utilize the data. Today what's happening is that in most of these initiatives, whether it's railways, whether it's UI, I wouldn't say UIDAI, because UIDAI is definitely using that data, but a whole lot of other opportunities we have that data, we are compiling that data, but we are not necessarily really using that data to the advantage of the citizens. That's one area where one has to look at how to use big data to deliver better services to the citizens. And lastly, on the cloud, it's going to be extremely important, especially when we look at our country. We still see a lot of work that needs to happen in the area of education, in the area of healthcare, and cloud services are going to play a big role towards that step. We are seeing that happening. For example, AICTE is currently using the cloud to use and provide certain productivity tools to its students. And the number of students which are using those productivity tools is close to about 50 lakhs today, and it's going to go up to about 75 lakhs. All on the cloud without any cost. For a country like ours, in India, where cost is a big issue, especially in education, that's a big step forward. And we look at cloud as a big technology lever ahead. Now, when we talk to some of the government leaders in the country, what you see here are some of the questions which get asked. Most of the people in the government, they have questions related to how to address the citizen service requirements that they are committed to. How do they make sure that capacity gaps are covered immediately? Building capacity in India is a big challenge. One of the biggest challenges we see in e-governance rollouts is building capacity. And that's now becoming one of the priority areas. Any e-governance project that has to succeed in the country, capacity building is going to be. That's one of the priorities of most of the government officials. Also, we look at, as I mentioned earlier, it's also important for a government leader to see how the data that has been collected, how is it analyzed, and how decision making is done on that, rather than just collecting that data. When we look at an effective citizen service solution framework, we identify and we look at three broad pillars on this. One is the service delivery and engagement with the citizen. The second is the workplace modernization, and the third is what we call as the service delivery and insights for the government leaders. So briefly, what it means is that when we look at service delivery engagement, what we are talking about here is an improved service delivery. Like I mentioned earlier, on the subject of railway ticket booking, the expectations, the needs of the citizen will keep changing. The needs that existed 25 years back and the needs that existed 10 years back and what they exist today will continue to change. And today the technology is available to help the government provide those services. One of the examples is with the ESI Corporation, Ministry of Labour. They are primarily in the space of providing healthcare and insurance services to the citizens in a certain level of salary, which is below a certain level. Now, the ESI service, healthcare services, sometime back was available to a citizen only in the city where that person is residing. Just because they did not have any automation, it was not very connected, and service was just not available. Today, with the automation of ESI, any citizen who is a member of ESI Corporation can travel across the country and avail of the healthcare services across the country. Healthcare being an important area for the country today, it's a big step forward. Although it's a very basic kind of an IT automation, but it's a big step forward. So we see demands like these, we see needs like these coming in from the citizens on a continuous basis, and the governments will have to do something to provide those necessary services. And of course, IT is the right way to go with that.